Okay, I'm ready for the internet to get mad at me again. The biggest relationship on the show Community was a platonic one, but I would argue it was a queer platonic one. Not queer platonic, queer platonic. And in my opinion, polyamory coded. But first, hi, I'm Genevieve. I'm non-monogamous and polyamorous for 12 years. I do long-form videos and resources here, short-form videos and resources here. Just wrapped season 1 of the podcast I Could Never with real non-monogamous stories from around the world. I also have a second YouTube channel, Chill Polyamory 2, TOO, where I post longer form and looser polyamory education. But on this channel, we have fun. I take a look at non-monogamy in film and TV. What do they do well? What's messy and they get wrong? In my opinion, let's get into it. I wasn't quite sure how to describe this show to people, and on Reddit, someone asked the same question, and one of the top replies was, if Big Bang Theory is a show about nerds created by normal people, then Community is a show about normal people created by nerds. Perfect. Dan Harmon, huge nerd, everything he makes is super nerdy. He got together with a bunch of other nerds to create a show about community college. The main friend group also has Jeff, Annie, Shirley, Britta, and Pierce. But this video is about the heart of the show, in my opinion, but definitely the most significant relationship of the show, Troy and Abed's friendship. Troy Barnes is played by Donald Glover. He was a high school football star who got a scholarship but then injured himself because it was all too much pressure, so he wound up at community college instead. And Abed Nadir, played by Danny Pudi. He wants to make movies, he's obsessed with pop culture. He's heavily implied to be autistic, though they don't say that outright. And despite being one of the quirkiest characters, he's also often the voice of reason or even the moral compass of the show. And over time, the two become inseparable, to the point that their friends even comment on it.
You don't see me saying anything crazy about Abed and Troy's weird little relationship.
They're just jealous.
So what's so unique about this friendship? Why do people keep thinking they're a couple or making jokes even that they're gay?
Whoa.
Oh, it's a drawing of Abed with hearts all around. Strictly speaking, Troy, the Bible condemns this level of friendship.
Even at this point in season 1, people are sort of like making innuendo jokes about how close they are. Now, Shirley's ultra Christian, so you kind of expect it from her, but after a while, she's not the only one thinking it.
Me and Abed have an announcement.
Troy and I are living together.
Oh, that's nice.
Everybody thought something else was about to be announced. And to be fair, like with scenes like this, you can kind of see where they're coming from. I mean, maybe straight guys with their other straight guy friends put things in each other's mouths while sticking their asses out. You know, maybe that's a straight guy thing. I don't know. I'm not a straight guy. You tell me. But for what it's worth, I think these two are straight. Like, I think that's canon. It's just that they are both very comfortable being close and intimate with each other in a way that I think a lot of straight friends wouldn't be. That's all I'm saying.
You sure Britta couldn't do your part?
Yeah, I asked her. She wasn't available.
Let's go film the sex scene.
And there's a term for this kind of ambiguous but undeniably close relationship, queerplatonic. And no, that doesn't mean a platonic relationship between queer people. It is the queering of the concept of platonic. When queer is used as a verb like that, it means the rejection of traditional categories and norms. So it can be used for anything from a close friendship you've had for 10 years, sometimes you go months without talking, sometimes you have sex very frequently. It is something that doesn't really have a fixed shape. It can also be applied to a platonic life partnership, somebody that you are in it together, you are doing life together, and you don't want romance or sex with each other. And so a lot of polyamorous people have embraced the term queer platonic to describe these sort of unnameable relationships that don't fit into the normal boxes. And so when characters say things like this,
Oh, we can never stop being friends.
or this,
Abed! I love you.
I know.
or when creators include stuff like this,
Troy and Abed in the morning.
I don't know if you caught it, but one of those fan signs says, "Dump Troy, marry me." That's the writers knowing exactly what they're doing. And I would say for most of the seasons of this show, Troy and Abed get framed like platonic life partners that don't want romance, that don't want sex with each other, and they are committed to each other, and everybody knows that everybody sees it.
Hold on.
A baby. I guess I could get some kind of job, maybe at Beans and More. I'll probably have to work double shifts, but...
Oh, I see. While you're off climbing the ladder of beans and more, I'll just stay home and raise him alone. That's fine. I'll just give up on my dreams.
Here we go.
What? He needs to learn a strong man can cry.
It took about 2 whole seconds to start co-parenting plans, and then only a few more seconds to start having marriage issues. And this is not how they are even with other male friends. Like when Jeff is worried about his connection with Britta, Abed supports him, and they do typical American bro shit, right? Of like eating hot dogs and drinking beer and fighting with swords, right? Like it's still a nice friendship, it's just a very clear contrast with how he is with Troy. So when I saw these two are partners, right? The show knows it, they know it, everyone else knows it, and both of them have romantic and sexual relationships outside of their connection to each other.
Hey.
Oh, I don't know where Abed is. I can try calling him if you want.
Nah. I'm not looking for my other half. I'm looking for you, girl.
So that's when the polyamorous bat signal goes off. No, not that partner. I want you. Like, these are not mutually exclusive things. In another episode, Troy tries to help Abed flirt a little bit better.
All right, Annie, you sit here. You take a run at her. Let's see what you got.
Okay. What are you reading?
Pride and Prejudice?
So you're familiar with 2 sins. How about a third?
Oh. I don't think we're allowed to smoke in here.
And you picked the wrong outfit. Didn't you?
Abed, what are you doing?
Don Draper from Mad Men. What'd you think?
Weird.
Awesome.
And Troy is into it. Side note, unrelated, like, Mad Men exists in this universe because, like, Alison Brie, the actress who plays Annie, she's also an actor on Mad Men. Anyway, the point is that Troy is into it. Troy is excited for Abed, right? And, like, so encouraging your partner on how they might want to date or be better at, like, attracting a partner for themselves. They also have a special handshake that only the two of them will do together, but Pierce wants in.
Why do you do that?
Do what?
It's cool.
Well, let me in. Let me into the handshake. Give you $1,000.
Indecent proposal.
Indecent proposal.
If you don't know the movie Indecent Proposal, is when a rich man approaches another man saying, I'll pay you money to sleep with your wife. But the episode that hit me where I knew I had to make this video was Valentine's Day in season 2. They're both into the librarian, they talk about it with each other, and decide to approach her together.
We're both interested in taking you to the Valentine's dance, but we are also best friends with each other.
It is of utmost importance we protect that friendship from the stresses of courting you, so we're trying to be as direct and above board about this as possible.
Will you go to the dance with one of us? And if so, which one?
This is the cutest thing that's ever happened to me.
They high five because they're doing a great job being adorable. They come up with a plan together of how she can get to know both of them at the same time.
Get to know us at the dance and decide there which of us you'd like to see again.
Okay, deal.
Easily, she could have gone on separate dates with either of them, but no, the three of them go ostensibly on a date together. Troy pays his respects to Abed's qualities. Abed cheers on Troy's dance moves when he's trying to show him off to her.
Go.
Like, they are rooting each other on. Either choice. Choose either one of us because we're both great and we would support you choosing the other guy.
We both agreed to this. We're both very comfortable with each other, so I won't be...
No, I choose you, Troy.
Cool. You can have this then. Thank you, Mariah. Have a great night.
So the show is not trying to make a polyamorous triad. Like, again, the two of them are not romantic partners, but they are all three on a date, right? It still is centering their partnership. Them as a duo are dating her together. She will pick which one she wants to romantically be with.
What was wrong with Abed?
I would love to be his friend,
I know you would. It's incredible.
but romantically, he's, you know.
Hate her. She called you weird.
I am weird.
Not as weird as her. There's someone out there for us.
I'll be your unicorn, please. That's just my headcanon. That's just like my headcanon is that they date a woman together somewhere off screen. I feel like when creators or showrunners, when they don't know that they're speaking to polyamorous people, when they're not trying to target us, that's when they can give nuance and depth and, really humanize the characters. Because so often when they're like, we're going to make a polyamorous character, it's so heavy-handed, or the whole story is about polyamory. But when the goal is just to make good characters, then we can see ourselves on screen, including the parts that maybe aren't so great. In one of the Halloween episodes, they go in a couple's costume as Ripley and the alien from Alien.
Get away from those hotties!
And then Troy sees two cute women who are like not exactly turned on by that.
You're safe now. But if that thing comes back, I'm gonna need one or both of your phone numbers.
Yeah, right.
They think they're weird, they think they're nerdy. They are weird, they are nerdy, but that's a plus for the right people. So he gets rid of his costume, decides he wants to be a sexy vampire because it's the 2010s, and he leaves Abed behind.
We have to rise to the occasion like Ripley and kick monster butt in our undies.
I'm not Ripley, Abed. I'm a cool, sexy Dracula. I make love to ladies and I survive.
Just embrace it. Just embrace who you are, right? The right people will come. The right people will stay. At one point, Jeff and Abed go out to dinner for Abed's birthday, and Troy feels a certain way about it.
It's really great of Jeff to put this together.
I'm not jealous. Jeff's not better than me. I said,
To the point that later, when everyone shows up to the restaurant and it's clear that Jeff's unhappy with Abed, Troy is so upset about that.
This is why we don't hang out.
Well, thanks for getting me fired, jerks. The party's over.
Cool.
Yeah, it is.
man, I really wish you two got along better.
Maybe don't gloat at your partner's friendship falling apart. No one's coming to replace you, Troy. Who possibly could, And sometimes there's some jealousy about what they can't give each other. In season 3, all of them get little video game avatars, and the entire episode plays out in a Super Mario Brothers style game.
Isn't this where Abed's village was?
Hello, old friends.
Abed!
You remember Hilda?
I live in the village. I love Abed.
Abed finds a way to change the programming of it and make one of the characters fall in love with him.
If you max out a character's trust and affection levels, you can gain access to a front-end scripting language. Watch. She can make babies for me.
Oh, and I can't. I can't.
And it's a joke, but not a joke, you know what I mean? There's a point at which Troy gets worried that he's not actually equals with Abed, that he's somebody that Abed tells what to do.
I wanted to make a blanket for it, and you never even gave it a second thought. I'm not even your sidekick, I'm your underkick.
So that tension and that frustration builds. And soon, 100 people are involved.
Okay, boys! This is war!
The entire episode about their conflict and everybody who takes sides with either one. That story gets told in the style of a Ken Burns Civil War documentary.
The war brings out the worst in people. Troy's forces intercept an email written by Abed outlining Troy's weaknesses.
Troy will hold on until he's broken emotionally. Fortunately, this will not be hard.
Troy does not take Abed's email lying down.
You may have been my best friend, but we both know I was your first friend. You're never going to have another friend. Because, all caps, nobody else will ever have my patience with you.
Everybody has conflict with everybody in this show, right? But the two of them, when they fight, it gets compared to a country being at war with itself. Luckily, they do make up. That is a short-lived fight, The two of them always come back to each other. But I think the culmination of everything I kind of been talking about here is when Troy gets a girlfriend.
And that's why we leave the couples' costumes to the couples, she said wisely.
You should probably warn your boyfriend's boyfriend.
Just because we're dating doesn't mean that we have to do everything together.
I'm getting rid of Britta. She's gotta go. I'm getting rid of the beach.
In season 4, Troy and Britta start dating, but at first, it's a secret.
Are you watching Inspector Spacetime?
Why does he have to wake up so early? Can't we just tell Abed that we're sleeping together?
Abed's fragile. We have to ease him into it, okay? Do we want him to freak out and then we have to rescue him from some fantasy world where submarines are small enough to enter the bloodstream?
But Abed's also perceptive.
Oh, good morning, Britta. I haven't seen you in over 12 hours.
Yeah.
I know you two are having sex. I've known for weeks.
What? Why didn't you say something?
I love donuts.
And he doesn't care. Like, that's totally fine. If anything, I'm kind of surprised he wasn't mad about the lying of it all, but like, you know, shrugs it off. But when Britta and Troy are in bed, Troy's trying to show her Inspector Spacetime. It's sort of like the Doctor Who knockoff that he and Abed love. Like, they do this together. And she's like not a huge fan of the show. And I think this can happen in polyamory sometimes, is like, oh, I love this. I bond with a partner over this. So let me show this to my other partner. Like, we'll obviously bond too. It's like, no, these are very different relationships. Like, let them be different relationships.
It's beautiful.
Now, you're sure it's okay Britta's here? Because she can just wait in the car.
Ooh, gross. No, stop. Like, no, she doesn't have to be a part of this. That could be a discussion that all of them have together. It's kind of like, you know, you want to have your close relationships. You just don't want those relationships to control your other close relationships, you know what I mean? And at one point, Abed gets a new friend who's into Inspector Spacetime as well.
Who's Toby?
Toby Weeks, arguably the biggest Inspector Spacetime fan in the world. We've been emailing for months.
Oh, you never mentioned him.
Well, you've been so busy lately having sex.
Abed's usually direct, but he's pretty passive-aggressive here. And at some point, Troy feels a bit like a third wheel to the event that he and Abed wanted to go to.
Toby, did you see
The Christmas special. Horrible.
But when you consider what it set up,
Brilliant.
Oh,
that...
Let's go.
You are not being crazy. That dude is trying to steal your boyfriend.
So now his girlfriend is giving him essentially dating advice. This guy Toby, whoever Toby is, he is kind of blatantly trying to box Troy out.
Terribly sorry. This is slightly embarrassing. I seem to have forgotten your name.
It's Troy! You know it's Troy! Okay, it's the first part of Troy and Abed. Toby and Abed in the morning? That's ridiculous! I'm not psycho! I mean, what if Abed wants to replace me? He makes me so angry and sad all at the same time.
If you freak out, it's only gonna push Abed away. Like I always say, if you love someone, set them free. And if they don't come back to you, they were never yours to begin with.
All right.
And I just was charmed by this moment. He felt insecure or vulnerable, and his partner is supporting him about his other partner. Like, we see this in polyamory all the time. Sometimes the person who knows what it is to date you and be with you can give you great advice on what it is to date you and be with you. And to be clear, Troy supports Abed meeting new people in general.
Isn't she perfect for Abed? She's like one of those quirky girls from the movies. I saw her in the cafeteria trying to pay for lunch with a song.
And he doesn't usually feel threatened if it's a romantic connection.
Jeez, get a room, you two.
But he does get threatened when it's a friendship, it's formed in secret, and he feels disrespected or left out. Luckily, they're able to get through it and even come out stronger, because over and again we see that Troy and Abed are the most important people in each other's lives. And while I'm a big fan of not putting romantic or sexual connections above your close friendships, I do feel like they overcorrect a little bit, and to an extent, Troy and Abed are like more important to each other than the people they date.
Troy and Britta, have you decided what you're going to do for your 1-year anniversary?
Of your first date?
Oh,
Dadoy.
yeah. Sure. That was a
just
test.
kidding.
Eh?
Speaking of anniversaries, it is the 3rd anniversary of me and Abed watching Freaky Friday for the first time.
Oh, that you remember?
It's not great when roles are reversed either. Like, we don't want anyone to feel like they don't matter, you know? But in general, they do make it right if they ever hurt anyone. These two go on adventures every single day of their life. They're creative alone, but always better together. And they love each other. They don't care what anyone thinks about them.
Am I good looking?
You're a very attractive young man.
I knew it.
Is this what every queer platonic relationship looks like? Absolutely not. It's this giant umbrella category for everything that doesn't fit into platonic or romantic, right? That's so many kinds of relationships. But for what it's worth, this show, these two, always have a place in my heart. So that is my case for polyamory on Community. But let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm not, but let me know if you think it. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next time.
Wow. I've got goosebumps.
Me too. Such a great story. I was on the edge of my seat and I was in it.
You want to know what struck me while I was watching that marvelous documentary? You can't get quality programming like that anywhere else but right here on
Chill Polyamory.
I was thinking that same thing.